Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your July reading. And I'm so sorry for the delay on this. Because of the week delay, we're going to kind of carry this over into August as well, just a little bit into Leo season. So let's go ahead and get started here, Aquarius, and see what kind of comes through for you for the next month or so. Beautiful start with the Wheel of Fortune here. What else do we need to know? We have the page. Okay. When the Wheel of Fortune comes out, it often indicates a pretty significant upswing with things. To me, this feels like Aquarius is on a mission. I don't know why that Page of Wands feels a little militaristic to me. I'm not quite sure why. I don't normally get that with the Page of Wands, but it feels very soldier-like. And I mean, it's clear to me that things are kind of moving in your favor right now. Now, your life may not be perfect and you may have challenges, but whatever those challenges are, those obstacles that you're currently facing, this tells me that you are being breadcrumbed out of them and into new spaces, into new realms, into new levels of abundance. Now, it may not be the highest levels of abundance that you ever possibly could imagine, but it's just the next level, whatever that is for you. For some of you, it might be getting out of survival mode financially. For some of you, it might be healing something so you can have healthy relationships, but you are being breadcrumbed. And this is something that I think Aquarius is wholeheartedly inviting and just saying, you know what, universe or God or spirit, I am ready. I am willing to hear whatever I need to hear. I'm willing to do what I need to do. I don't see a lot of pushback here in terms of what must be done. And when we have sixth house activation, which right now we've got Jupiter, we've got the sun in there for Cancer season. But this sixth house Jupiter really focuses on kind of the mundane, the everyday, the habits, the basic tasks, and those types of things might be changing and evolving for Aquarius, where your daily routine is evolving so that your overall outcome can also evolve. And with the Page of Wands, okay, I'm sorry, I had to pause my recording briefly because my cat had like a bag and she was wrestling the bag and it was distracting. But the Page of Wands, like I said, this kind of has a militaristic energy to it for some reason. It's still a beginner mind where I still think Aquarius is humble, and I don't see like this know-it-all energy or anything like that. I think you're absolutely willing to learn. You're willing to make the adjustments, which for a fixed sign is not always easy. I think fixed signs, it's a kind of a part of their nature to just kind of persevere and just keep things going. But when it's time to make big revolutionary things, I think right now especially with Pluto in your sign as well, not only Pluto but Jupiter in the 6th. We also have Uranus moved into Gemini on the 7th of July, and there's just kind of a lot of room for change and a lot of room for adaptability, and so I think that there are things that you must adjust, and you are wholeheartedly full devotion to this, diving in like a soldier into war, so to speak, right? You're on a mission. And that mission is, with the Nine of Cups, it's for your wishes to come true, and I think you're going to have some success with that this month, over the next 4 or 5 weeks or so. I want you to keep in mind, it may not be everything, may not be the whole enchilada, but I think you're going to be pleased by the end of the month in terms of how far you've come, how much you've actually done. And by mid-August, you are going to be sitting in a totally different situation. But remember, it does depend on how active you are, right? This is a wand card, the Page of Wands. It depends on how active you are. It depends on how much enthusiasm and passion you put into things. If you are doing things with a sense of drudgery and resentment and that type of stuff, you may not get, I'm not saying you won't get anywhere, but you're not going to get as far as you would like. And I don't know that you're going to be as satisfied. So I think your attitude is very important. If you are struggling with having a positive attitude or a sense of possibility or a sense of opportunity, this is a time to kind of check yourself a little bit and say, what's going on in my mind that I'm being pessimistic, or what's going on in my mind that I'm thinking I can't, or whatever. Because we want this journey to be enjoyable. We want it to be satisfactory and fulfilling for you. Okay? Because when I look at this Queen of Coins, I really do see that you are going to get results. I see the physical with the earth element here with the coins. I see her feeling proud and feeling secure and feeling like she's on the right track. And kind of also with her, there's often a sense of knowing that things are going to work out. Now, you may or may not be in that state right now. I mean, hopefully with the Wheel of Fortune, there's a strong sense that things are going to work out. But here you're sitting in this, like, I know that my intentions are going to grow and manifest into something real. And I think you're going to have little tokens along the way that showcase that, yeah, you are going to have results. And that's the thing I really like about this astrological environment right now, is that it is extremely results oriented. We're kind of out of the Aquarius Pisces realm. Now we still have Pluto in Aquarius and North Node in Pisces, so there's still a little bit of that magic going on. But when we have a lot of Aries activation and Gemini and Cancer and Leo and Virgo, this is more about being in the physical, being in the world, being in an active process of creation, right? Where we have our hands on it. So Queen of Coins, absolutely willing to roll up her sleeves and do what she needs to do, get her hands in the dirt. And when you have that mixed with this sort of soldier-like mentality, there really is no stopping you. Okay? Now, the Page of Swords tells me that you're going to learn something, maybe a lot of things this month. And I think the more open your mind, the better. I think this is... I love for me, this always feels very fresh. It's like cool, crisp, fresh springtime air, mountaintops, it's clean. You could run around for days, your lungs are full. Like, for some reason, it just feels refreshing. And whenever this card comes out, it always gives me this like sense of relief, this sense of space, this sense of freedom and freedom to roam. And I think this is part of what you're doing all of this for, is to have this sense of relief. So if there's a task at hand that really needs your dedication in the short term, go ahead and do it, because the payout is going to be totally worth it. Okay, but there's going to be a lot of learning. There's going to be a lot of communication, especially now that we have Uranus in Gemini. And I love Uranus and Gemini in the 5th house for you, because I really do feel like your creativity is going to be out of the box, a little eccentric, very different, innovative for the next 7 years, as we've got as Uranus is going through Gemini there. But this is kind of that introduction to what that transit is going to be. Yes, Uranus will retrograde back into Taurus later this year, but it will come back into Gemini in 2026. And I think this energy is going to be a very familiar one for Aquarius, this Page of Swords here. Okay. Let's see what else comes through. Okay. Nine of Swords looking really dark and scary in this reading. This big kind of dark square here. This to me is probably your own mind questioning your readiness, because I think things are going to move a little bit faster than you think. And there could be worry about, is this really going to be successful? Which, I think there's going to be still a sense of knowing this is probably just the part of you that's trying to pull you back, right? Trying to pull you back to something that is safe and secure, because there's a lot of expansive energy in this top row. So I suspect through a majority of July moving forward, there's going to be this sort of sense of outreach, growth, learning, all of that. And then you're going to hit this mark or this moment. Although I think this is very short term. I don't think this is long lasting. I don't think this is something that is going to last for days and days and days. It's probably just like one night or something where you have a little freak out and you're like, wait, this is getting uncomfortable. Do I really have the devotion to this? Am I really good enough for this? And all the normal things that we kind of tend to run through when we're moving into unknown territory. But I see you very quickly getting over that. I mean, this combination here, it's like, it's such a blip, and it's like the Nine of Swords can't keep you down. Your own mind isn't going to keep you down. I just really don't think Aquarius is in a position to let their Nine of Swords, their fear, their anxiety, their stress, their worries, hold them back, right? It's almost as though you have to really act in spite of all those things and say, I don't care if I'm afraid, I'm going to do it anyway. To me, this is an act of extraordinary courage, because many people cannot get past this because they put so much truth into this stuff. They really think their fears are true. They really think they can't. They really think that, even though in the weeks prior, there's all this proof that they absolutely can, and that it is working out, and that there are results, right? This is just the part of you that wants to keep you safe, but safety is not backwards, okay? It's not backwards. It is forwards. And with the Eight of Wands, I think in reaction to the Nine of Swords, you are going to dive in even deeper, right? And you're going to start to accelerate the progress even that much more. So you just keep going, you just keep going, you just keep going. And I just don't see anything stopping you. We have, so Temperance. It's all relaxed. And there's just, this is very stoic, this energy, okay? And I love this in response to the Nine of Swords, because this is exactly what you need, the stoicism, right? What you need is to be able to take a step back and say, how can I reallocate this energy? Because this is very specific energy. It's a drain, right? It sucks you dry. It kind of just pulls everything you got. And if you experience things like fatigue or exhaustion, this is just saying, like, this is not a productive avenue for you. Okay, you don't have to be afraid of your own expansion here. So this is you taking that step back, right? You take that step back, you analyze, and you say, I'm just going to alchemize this, right? Because that's really what the Temperance card is, kind of pouring from one cup to the other. He's sort of alchemizing the emotion. He's dedicating it toward the mission, I would say, with the Emperor down here. I mentioned the militaristic nature of that page, and now we actually get the Emperor, who is a highly militaristic figure with his armor on underneath his robes, okay? So you do have to kind of treat this like a mission, like a real mission. This is not just a willy-nilly, like this project, this goal, this thing that you're doing, because you all have different things that you're focused on right now, different areas of life and whatnot. So whatever this thing is, this is not just some willy-nilly thing that just came into your mind and is like, oh, maybe I should do it, maybe I shouldn't. I think this is genuinely your soul saying that this is the path for you to take for the next chapter to really start to open up. This is a part of your soul's ambition here on earth and part of a set of experiences that you're meant to have. And I think you can invite this in, you can nurture it, you can dive into it so that it becomes your present, right? And it's probably something that you want, right? Because the universe, the higher self, communicates to us through desire. So yes, you do want it. This is you saying, oh, well, maybe I don't want it as much as I thought I did because it's so much work, or it's so much this, or it's so much that, and maybe I'm not ready, and there's all the things. But here you are saying, I'm not going to let that line of thought win. I'm going to alchemize it. I'm going to do something useful with it. And I do see triumph at the very end. I see a lot of triumph. And I see, first of all, triumph of the mind. And I think that's really what this month is actually about. While there are results, and I think, of course, results are important, and we're just kind of in that type of environment right now, and that's a good thing, and that's a plus and a bonus, but this is about conquering your mind and conquering certain demons that kind of, demons not literally, but the shadows, the fears, all that kind of stuff that have been looming and keeping you in any type of stagnation. Now, I'm not necessarily seeing that you have been in a stagnant place. Maybe you haven't been, but it's just whatever is meant for you now, it's meant to be for you now. It's not meant for 6 months from now. It's meant for today, for July, for August. Right? And I see you being very triumphant here. And I think you are going to be exceptionally proud of yourself come the end of this month, because you were able to consciously deal with that Nine of Swords. It's funny how that Nine of Swords just kind of like wedged itself in this beautiful reading. And it just was like someone was trying to throw the wrench in the spokes, but you were like, nuh-uh, not today. Pull the wrench out immediately, throw it to the ground, and just keep going. And I think it shows how resilient you are, how self-aware you are, how far you've come, how healed you actually are. I think some people get very caught up with the healing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the healing becomes the identity. But we're not meant to stay in healing all the time. We're meant to go through phases of healing so that we can achieve the next level, and then we'll go through a little bit more, and then we do the next thing, and so on and so forth. And it's meant to oscillate or vacillate between the two. You don't have to constantly be in healing. And I don't know that right now has to be a healing time for Aquarius. I think it's more about realizing how much work you've actually done, and just start putting all that work to good use and leveraging it and using it to your benefit. Okay, so we're going to pull out a couple of oracles to finish off. I know I normally do these in the beginning, but I decided to do them at the end this month. So we're going to start with the animal spirit. So what is it that Aquarius needs to know here? I feel like this one. Trust the great mystery. And I like this with the Wheel of Fortune a lot, because you don't really know how this is going to transpire. Right? You don't really know how all of this is going to unfold or show up. And coming into July, you probably have no idea what this Nine of Swords is. You probably have no clue. You probably understand the Wheel of Fortune and Page of Wands right now. That's probably something you get. But the Nine of Swords, it's probably going to come out of nowhere, where it might have a lot to do with the Saturn retrograde on the 13th, or Mars coming conjunct the South Node on the 20th, right before Leo season begins. And it just kind of has its moment, but I do see you being very resilient. We have a new start is coming. Yes, absolutely. And I think you know that because you created it, and it's just well underway. I don't think that's a surprise at all. Okay? Let's go ahead and pull out the clarifiers. We are going to start to open up all these cards rather. We're going to pull 3 cards per card, so like a total of 30. And we're going to cover those cards in the comprehensive reading where we go much more in detail. So if you want to join, the link is in the description box in the comment thread down below. Thank you all so much. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. What else does Aquarius need to know about the Wheel of Fortune here? We have the Hanged Man, 3 of Coins, 7 of Wands. Love that 8 of Coins so much. 6 of Swords, Knight of Wands. Oh, oops, hold on. I just dropped a whole bunch of cards. 9 of Swords, 5 of Swords. Oh my goodness. And we're going to do a coin and this one. Hopefully I picked them all up. I think I did just those 2. Okay. 2, and we'll take this top one here since we saw that. Okay, and Page of Swords. What else for the page? Relief indeed with the Sun. Relief indeed with the 5 of Coins. And 4 of Coins. Okay. 9 of Swords, we have the 10 of Wands, we have the Tower. I knew it was going to be an expected, like flash of the pan, out of the blue. Another Wheel of Fortune, excellent. I love Wheel of Fortune with the 8 of Wands because it just tells me that things are going to happen faster, you know? Another Emperor, beautiful. 10 of Cups, excuse me, Knight of Coins, Chariot, Death, another 8 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and last but not least for the Ace of Swords, Page of Coins, 9 of Wands, and 6 of Coins. All right, so this is where we're going to pick up. So if you want to join, again, that link is in the description box in the comment thread down below. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon.